You spend months trading, and by next week, most lessons are forgotten. But in Japan, traders follow the same routine for 10 years and stay profitable through every market condition. What's their secret? You've probably had this experience before. You take a painful loss. You write in your journal, "Never do this again." You promise yourself you've learned. And 2 weeks later, you make the exact same mistake. It's not stupidity. It's not lack of discipline. It's simply how memory works without routine. The brain prioritizes what feels important through repetition and discards everything else. Now here's the twist. In Tokyo, institutional traders manage billions using routines they've followed for over a decade. Not just any routine, but a rhythm designed around how the brain actually locks in trading lessons. They don't trade harder than Western traders. They don't spend more hours at their screens. They simply align their day with how memory and discipline actually work. And the result? They remember every lesson. They never repeat the same mistake twice. They stay calm through volatility that destroys others. So the question is, how do they do it? And more importantly, how can you copy it starting tomorrow? Because if Japanese traders can stay profitable for 10 years using the same routine, imagine what that discipline could do for your account. Most traders think trading begins when they open their charts. But in Japan, the foundation is built much earlier, sometimes the moment they wake up. Why? Because your brain isn't a machine you can just switch on at market open. It's more like soil. If you plant trades in a scattered, reactive mind, nothing grows. But if you prepare it, clear it, and align it first, suddenly everything clicks. So here's how Japanese traders prepare the soil of their mind every single morning. Before charts even open, many Japanese traders step outside. Even just a short walk or stretching near a window exposes their brain to natural light. That sunlight is a signal. Wake up. It's time to focus. Scientifically, morning light boosts cortisol at the right time of day and resets your circadian rhythm, which means sharper decision-making throughout the trading session. Some even do light exercise, not a workout, just 10 minutes of movement. Blood flow to the brain. Studies confirm even gentle movement increases memory recall by 20% and decision quality by 15%. Think about that. A 10-minute walk could be the difference between remembering yesterday's lesson or repeating yesterday's mistake. Meet David. David is a Western trader. He wakes up 15 minutes before market open, grabs coffee, opens 6 charts, starts scanning setups. No preparation, no review, just reaction. By the time he takes his first trade, his mind is already scattered, jumping from pair to pair, headline to headline. He doesn't remember why he lost yesterday because he never reviewed it. Now meet Takeshi. Takeshi is a Japanese institutional trader in Tokyo. He wakes up 90 minutes before market open, but he doesn't touch his charts for the first hour. Here's his exact routine. 5:30 a.m. Wake up, no phone, no news, no charts, just silence. 5:35 a.m. 10-minute walk outside, morning light, blood flow, brain activation. 5:45 a.m. Return home. Sit in stillness for 5 minutes. Not meditation, just sitting, breathing, clearing yesterday's noise. This might seem like wasted time, but in Japan, they understand something Western traders miss. Stillness before action creates clarity. Clarity creates memory. Memory creates discipline. Now here's the part that separates Takeshi from every losing trader. Instead of jumping into new setups, he opens his trading journal from yesterday. Not to read, to recall. He looks at each trade, closes his eyes, tries to remember, what did I see? What did I feel? What did I decide? Why did it work or fail? This is active recall, the most powerful memory technique in neuroscience. By forcing his brain to retrieve yesterday's lessons before adding new information, he's strengthening those neural pathways. It's like lifting weights for memory. David scans for new setups. Takeshi recalls old lessons. After 1 month, David has taken 240 trades but remembers almost nothing. Takeshi has taken 12 trades and remembers every single one in perfect detail. One is gathering experience, the other is building wisdom. There's a massive difference. After recall, Takeshi does something that seems almost too simple. He writes 1 sentence, not a paragraph. 1 sentence. Yesterday, I learned. Pausing 30 seconds before entry prevents 80% of my bad trades. That's it. 1 lesson, 1 sentence, 1 anchor for his brain. Then he sets his intention for today. Again, 1 sentence. Today, I will count to 30 before every entry. Not a complex plan, not 10 goals, one focus, one intention, one thing his brain can actually remember under pressure. 6:15 a.m. Now he's ready. He opens his charts, but his mind is completely different from David's. Clear, focused, grounded in yesterday's lessons, aligned with today's intention. David is scattered and reactive. Takeshi is centered and intentional. The market hasn't even opened yet, but the outcome is already decided. Japanese traders understand a principle Western traders ignore. The morning isn't about gathering information, it's about preparing the container that will hold that information. Think of your mind like a glass of water. If the glass is dirty and cracked, it doesn't matter how pure the water is. It's all wasted. That's what happens when you skip the morning routine. You pour trading setups into a mind that isn't ready to hold them. The Japanese morning routine cleans the glass. Light, movement, stillness, recall, intention. These aren't productivity hacks. They're memory preparation. By the time Takeshi takes his first trade, his brain has already been primed to remember it. David's brain? Still waking up. Still scattered. Still repeating last week's mistakes without even knowing it. So the Japanese morning isn't about doing more, it's about preparing better. And the result? Knowledge that sticks, lessons that compound, discipline that lasts. Most traders treat the afternoon like a battlefield, endless hours staring at charts fueled by coffee and adrenaline. But in Japan, traders follow a very different rhythm. They don't try to fight their biology. They trade with it. And the key? Strategic blocks of focus. Instead of sitting for 6 hours straight, Japanese traders work in concentrated intervals. Takeshi trades for 90 minutes, then takes a 15-minute break. Not to slack off, to let his brain process. Why does this matter? Because focus isn't infinite. Your brain has cycles, periods of peak attention followed by natural dips. During those dips, Western traders push harder. More caffeine, more charts, more forcing. Japanese traders do the opposite. They step back. A short walk, stretching, looking out the window. It feels unproductive. But here's the science. When you take a break right after making a trading decision, your hippocampus is still replaying that decision in the background. So while you think you're resting, your brain is actually organizing, filing, and locking in the lesson. Meet Sarah. Sarah is a day trader. She sits at her desk from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. No breaks. She thinks breaks are for lazy traders. By 2 p.m., she's exhausted. Her focus is gone. She starts making sloppy decisions, revenge trading after a loss, chasing setups that don't match her criteria. By end of day, she's taken 14 trades and can't even remember why she entered half of them. Now meet Hiroshi. Hiroshi trades the same markets as Sarah, but after every 90 minutes, he stands up, leaves his desk, walks for 10 minutes, not checking his phone, not thinking about trades, just walking. When he returns, his mind is reset, fresh, sharp again. By end of day, Sarah has taken 14 low-quality trades. Hiroshi has taken 4 high-quality trades. Sarah is down $1,300. Hiroshi is up $3,200. The difference? Rhythm. Here's something most traders never learn. The best trades aren't found by watching more. They're found by waiting better. And waiting requires a rested mind. A tired mind chases. A rested mind selects. Japanese traders have a concept called ma. It means the space between things. In music, the silence between notes creates beauty. In trading, the space between trades creates profit. Sarah fills every gap with action. She's terrified of missing something. So she watches everything and sees nothing. Hiroshi embraces ma, long stretches of nothing. Then one perfect trade. Western traders fear the gap. Japanese traders live in the gap. And that's where discipline is born. Here's another element of the Japanese afternoon that separates winners from losers. Spaced repetition of lessons. Instead of learning something once and moving on, Japanese traders revisit key lessons at timed intervals. Day 1. Learn the lesson. Day 2. Recall it in your journal. Day 4. Recall it again. Day 7. Recall it again. Each time the memory gets sharper, like carving into stone. By the end of a month, that lesson is so deeply embedded it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. You just do it. Takeshi has a lesson he learned 3 years ago. Never trade the first 15 minutes after high-impact news. He's recalled that lesson over 100 times in his journal. It's now burned into his brain. He doesn't need to remind himself. His hand won't even let him click the mouse during those 15 minutes. That's the power of spaced repetition. David learned the same lesson last month, but he never reviewed it. So last week, he forgot. Traded right after NFP. Got whipsawed. Lost $2,400. He'll learn it again next month. And forget it again. Because without routine, lessons evaporate. Here's something subtle but critical. Japanese traders eat for clarity, not for comfort. Lunch is light: rice, vegetables, fish. Foods that provide steady energy without crashing blood sugar. Why does this matter? Because focus isn't just about willpower. It's biology. A foggy mind comes from a heavy meal. A clear mind comes from a light one. Sarah grabs fast food at her desk. Burger, fries, soda. By 1 p.m., she's in a food coma. Her decision-making is impaired and she doesn't even realize it. Hiroshi eats a simple meal away from his desk. Returns with steady energy. His mind stays sharp until market close. Trading is a mental game, and mental performance is built on physical foundation. Western traders ignore the body and wonder why the mind fails. So the Japanese afternoon isn't about grinding harder, it's about moving smarter. Trade in intervals, rest between focus blocks, revisit lessons at spaced intervals, eat for energy, not crash, and embrace the space between trades. That's how they stay sharp all day, and why their discipline never breaks. Most traders think the day ends when the market closes. But in Japan, the evening is just as sacred as the trading itself. Why? Because that's when the brain decides what to keep and what to delete. Instead of closing their laptop and walking away, Japanese traders do a 20-minute review. Not trading, not analyzing new setups, just reviewing today. This review has one purpose: lock in the lessons. Before sleep erases them. Here's how Takeshi does it. 4:05 p.m. Market closes. He doesn't leave his desk yet. He opens his journal. 4:10 p.m. He asks himself 3 questions. Question 1. What did I do well today that I want to remember forever? Not, I traded well. Specifics. On trade 2, I waited 45 seconds before entering. That pause let me see the volume divergence I would have missed if I rushed. That pause made me $1,800. I want to remember, the pause always pays. Question 2. What mistake did I make today that I never want to repeat? Again, specifics. On trade 3, I moved my stop loss because I believed in the setup. Price hit my original stop, then continued against me. I lost an extra $400 because of ego. I want to remember, stops are sacred. Question 3. If I could only remember one thing from today, what would it be? This question is genius. It forces prioritization. He can't remember 10 things. So what's the one thing? Today I want to remember. My best trade came after 2 hours of doing nothing. Patience made $1,800. Impatience cost $400. Remember, stillness before action. This entire process takes 15 minutes. But those 15 minutes determine whether today becomes wisdom or today disappears into nothing. Here's what science tells us. When you review something right before sleep, your brain tags it as important. During the night, your hippocampus replays those memories and moves them from short-term to long-term storage. It's like hitting save on a document. If you don't hit save, the power goes out and everything is lost. That's what happens when you trade all day but never review before bed. All those lessons, gone by next week. David finishes trading at 4 p.m., closes his laptop, scrolls Twitter, watches Netflix, goes to bed, never reviews. By next week, he's forgotten what he learned. He'll repeat the same mistakes because his brain never saved the file. Takeshi reviews for 15 minutes, writes his 3 answers, closes his journal. His brain now knows. This matters. Tonight, while he sleeps, his hippocampus will replay those lessons. Strengthen those pathways. Carve them deeper. By morning, they're permanent. One trader gathers experience, the other builds wisdom. Here's something most traders don't realize. Deep sleep is your secret weapon. While you sleep, your brain reorganizes everything you learned, throws away the noise, keeps the signal. But this only happens in deep sleep, and deep sleep only happens when you prepare for it. Japanese traders treat sleep like a sacred ritual. Screens off 60 minutes before bed, lights dimmed, a calm routine instead of chaos. Why? Because every late-night scroll, every extra episode, every just one more chart steals from the memory you worked all day to build. Sarah trades until 4 p.m., then scrolls her phone until midnight. Doom scrolling, stimulation, blue light. Her brain never gets deep sleep. Her memory consolidation is broken. She wakes up tired. Lessons from yesterday? Barely there. Takeshi closes his charts at 4 p.m., reviews for 15 minutes, then begins his evening wind-down. Gentle activity. Reading. Quiet conversation. By 9 p.m., screens are off. By 10 p.m., he's asleep. Deep, restorative sleep. His brain spends 8 hours carving yesterday's lessons into stone. By morning, they're permanent. There's a Japanese principle called kaizen, small, steady improvement. Takeshi applies this before bed. He sets one micro goal for tomorrow. Not, I'll be a better trader. One tiny thing. Tomorrow, I will pause 10 seconds before every entry. That's it. One focus. His brain can handle that. And when he wakes up, that intention is the first thing in his mind. Sarah sets vague goals. I need to stop. Revenge trading. I need to be more patient. I need to follow my plan better. 10 goals. Her brain can't hold that. So she remembers none of them. By 10 a.m., she's already broken 3 promises to herself. One clear intention beats 10 vague goals. Every time. Here's the final piece of the Japanese evening. Ma. The space between. Takeshi spends 10 minutes in complete stillness before bed, not meditating, not thinking about trades, just sitting, breathing. Silence. This isn't wasted time, it's the bridge. The transition from stimulation to restoration. When the mind is still, the body can rest. When the body rests, the brain remembers. Western traders live in extremes, late-night cramming, burned-out mornings, drowsy afternoons. More cramming. Japanese traders learned a truth we keep ignoring. It's not the intensity of one session that makes you great. It's the rhythm of daily repetition. Small reviews, light evenings, deep rest, consistent wake-up. And the result, not just better trades, but lessons that last forever. So the Japanese evening isn't about working longer. It's about working with your biology. Review lightly, sleep deeply, end with stillness. Let your brain do the rest, because the secret isn't just in how you trade, it's in how you end the day. So here's the truth. The Japanese traders you see staying profitable for 10 years aren't superhuman. They don't have bigger brains, secret strategies, or magical discipline. What they have is rhythm. Morning isn't rushed, it's aligned. Afternoon isn't a grind, it's structured. Evening isn't wasted, it's sealed. Night isn't chaotic, it's restorative. And when you stack these small habits day after day, something extraordinary happens. Lessons don't just visit your mind for a week. They live there. They become automatic. They become you. Think about this. Every time you said, I keep making the same mistakes, or I just can't stay disciplined, what if you were wrong? What if it wasn't you? What if it was the method? Because the Japanese routine proves one thing. You don't need more willpower. You need better rhythm. Here's the invitation. Tomorrow morning, try just one piece of this routine, not the whole system. Not perfection, just one small step. Maybe it's 10 minutes of morning light. Maybe it's recalling one trade from yesterday before you look at new setups. Maybe it's turning off your screen 30 minutes earlier tonight. Do it once. Feel the difference. Then let rhythm do the rest. I can tell you this. No indicator, no strategy, no course has ever come close to the clarity and discipline this routine creates. It's simple, it's human, and it works. If this video gave you something, don't leave it here. Hit subscribe. Share this with a trader who's struggling. Let's rebuild how we approach this game, because the future doesn't belong to those who trade harder. It belongs to those who trade smarter. And that's you, starting tonight.